we don't have to worry about Facebook or any of that crap. So hitting here live with Geoff. I don't know, I'm waiting for it
It's
to
messed
pop
up
up.
background.
There it is. Friday night hangout. There it is. Okay, so yeah, we're live. Live on
Good
the
deal.
YouTube. So anyway, it's Friday night. It's kind of a slow week here. Just wanted to test out streaming functions here on the channel. I don't even know if anybody's going to show up or not, but I see zero, so it's a big fat nothing. But we can just talk about things anyway, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
we could
really
talk about
matter.
whatever.
Speaking of, so let's talk about our games and stuff like that. So what do you think of Palladium Fantasy now that you've been playing it for a little while now?
Say what?
You're not paying attention. We're live. What do you think about Palladium Fantasy now that we've been playing it for a while?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's not as contradictory to D&D, but it has its own system, and you know what? It's more in root, or more in the style of real life as opposed to complete fantasy. It has a somewhat realistic feeling to it.
A realistic feeling to it, really.
Yeah, as in, everything's magical and wheelchairs exist. It just has a I don't know, more authentic feeling to it than D&D.
Well, I mean, Palladium Fantasy, the one we're playing, 1E was based off of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, first and second edition. That's basically what it is. So that's
Well,
mostly
I
what
understand.
attracted me to it because it was so old school feeling and it had all that wonderful stuff that D&D kicked out of it. So why not?
Yeah, but it just feels good because you don't have paladins where they are casting spells, lay on hands. I mean, spells require components and whatnot.
True. No one in the group actually has played a wizard or anything like that yet, so nobody knows how those work because they haven't used it at all.
Well, we had one person at one time that tried, but they're gone.
Did we?
Yeah.
No one was an actual wizard.
Uh, Elementalist.
Oh, that's a little bit different though, because that's more of a natural ability for controlling the elements and stuff like that.
And of course, there was Raven too at one time.
And Raven was a healer only. They didn't have any actual real magical powers.
Oh.
Yeah, they were mostly just had they. I think they used I forget what it was. It was kind of like a natural PPE ability.
Okay. So, describe how the difference between Dungeons and Dragons spellcasting and Palladium spellcasting. How is it different?
You know what? I'd have to read up on it again because nobody played it, so I didn't bother reading it. I mean, I don't. It's slightly different. It's mostly a natural ability, so it's a little bit different. I never worried about spell components anyway when we played games. I think that's just annoying. I mean, I
Hmm.
would the most I'd be like, yeah, you know what, buy a spell component pouch, and then every time you go into a town, try to refill it back up. Because I hated when we played 1E and the DM would be like, "Oh, do you have the components?" And I have to go search for the components somewhere.
Especially if the components were like simple enough, like a feather. Like, yes, I understand that feathers aren't just lying around me, but come on, who wouldn't have those? Did you go buy one? It's like, do I have to specifically say that everything I buy?
Yes, you do have to say it. Like Corey, his character actually does need components for his circles.
Uh
But
huh.
he has the components he already wants inside of his pouch already, so he made sure to make a point out of that.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, if you say I go buy the components, you should be able to. Shouldn't be any problems with that. But when you're asking for specific things like emeralds and stuff like that, it's a little bit. Yes, boas.
Yeah, making feather bower, Steven. Captain Frost is here.
Frosty. But yeah, when it comes to higher level stuff, that's the kind of stuff you actually have to go seek out.
You said it's lagging for you, Jeff?
Yeah, it's lagging, but that's restream for me. I might have to
Oh,
switch over to my standard definition.
I see it perfectly fine. I don't see you lagging at all. I don't know, Captain Frost. What do you see there on your end? Anybody lagging? Any audio off? Because we both have 5 green bars from what I'm looking at.
I live out in the middle of nowhere, so my internet's iffy at times. A lot of times.
Yeah. But yeah, so he usually has all the components he needs for playing a summoner when we're doing the game. So, because most of the stuff he's summoning is nothing. I mean, you saw him only do what, a circle once, maybe twice,
Oh, my character's never seen him do a circle, but yeah, he's done a circle.
player wise.
Yeah, player
So
wise, I've seen him do what, 2 circles, 3 circles.
yeah, well,
There was the dragon. I mean, well, it's supposed to be snakes, but it was a dragon. It was the truth telling, and it gets evil, right?
yeah, yeah. Captain Frost says he sees no problem. Okay, cool. I am on a free cell phone. I have no idea what that means. A free cell phone.
Like a cricket cell phone or whatever.
I maybe
He's
he'd like
he's on a flip phone. He's
he's,
watching
he,
this on a flip phone.
he's watching us on a flip phone from 1982. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but
I used
he did a couple circles. Yeah, he trying to still hide the fact that he's a summoner from everybody, but I think
well,
everybody's figured it out.
yeah, with that last one, everybody knows now.
I mean, literally, when you guys were with Krampus, he was drawing a circle on the ground in front of everybody.
I even pointed out, I was like, this is not a time to be drawing geometrical figures.
Yeah,
Look at the circle.
it's a circle. But yeah, you guys gotta next time we play, which will be on the 14th or so. Yeah, 14th. We have to either figure out where you guys want to go. You want to go for the druids and the vampire, I mean the vampire druids, or do you want to go for saving the children and finding the demon soul?
Well, first things first is I'm probably going to tell Steven, and Steven can do what he wanted, but my character's probably going to tell Steven, go talk to your chick, figure out what's going on, and then I'm going to get Corey and my character to go find that whoever Jacob's little other helper is, Pepper and Piper.
Yeah, we never actually said her name in the campaign itself, so I can't really say what it is.
But she doesn't know that we know that she's the architect, or she's part of the whole system. So we're gonna come talk to her.
Ooh, maybe we'll see what happens.
I mean, from what I understand, right? The description of her, we would know what she looked like, right? We've seen her before. We don't know her name. We've seen her.
You saw her when he first came into town, and that was about the only time you saw her because he basically had him go out and do stuff the whole time while you guys were doing whatever, this or that.
But would she fit the description that one guy told us about? Was it blonde hair, slender build?
Brown. Yeah, it fits that description. Yeah, it does.
Okay, so
I'm interested to see how Jacob gets out of that one.
well, we'll see, because we're gonna make a beeline to her.
I don't think he's gonna care, to be honest. He's probably gonna just make up some weird excuse.
Well, if Jacob is a part of this whole theft ring, which I don't understand why he would be, he's probably be like, no, I don't. She's probably gonna tell her, don't implicate me. Give her a high sign or something like that.
I mean, he could. They're his loyal followers. They're 100% loyal to him. So,
But I don't know why Jacob would want this for us to steal, his members to steal all of everybody's equipment.
well, I can't tell you why or
All I
not.
got.
So,
Say what?
I said I can't tell you why or not. So,
Yeah.
is the audio coming through good, Captain Frost? Did you hear us loud and clear? Anybody need to be a little bit louder? I think it's pretty normal. So, But yeah, so anyway, moving on, I guess.
Steven, where are you listening from? Are you listening from YouTube or are you listening from
YouTube.
somewhere else?
YouTube is the only place you can listen to it. We're only on YouTube.
We're only on YouTube.
We're only on the YouTube.
Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, might as well. Give us a thumbs up.
Here, I'll put one there. Boom. Boom shakalaka.
There you go. So anyway, breaking news, right? The OGL, Wizards of the Coast, gonna pretty much the leaks for the OGL 1.1 for the new 1 D&D.
All right, before we get into it, what is OGL?
Open gaming license.
Which is what?
Basically gives you the ability to use the product and the mechanics. Well, I shouldn't say the mechanics. Basically gets you to use the basics of D&D to make your own type of game. That's what it does.
The system?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use D&D system to develop another game if you're choosing?
Yeah, pretty much. And you can use some of the flavor of D&D that's been there, like, certain magical items, things like that. Just things that are basic you can use. Things that have like specific names like Mordenkaim's whatever, or the Geoff. Yes, that's right, the Geoff. Things like that you can't use because it's like an intellectual property of Wizards of the Coast or TSR if we're going back like that. So So we got this. Where is that article? Nope. Window. There. So we have OGL 1.1 leaks to render OGL 1.0 unauthorized, which I don't understand how they can go back on it. I mean, I understand it's a limited type contract for the OGL, and it never said it was going to be indefinite, and contracts are never indefinite, so to speak. But I just can't see them putting this out and saying, "Oh, everything else, you can't do it anymore because we want to make money." So it just doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense that this would. Yeah, I know that's how they sound too. It just doesn't make a lot of sense that they would do this. And it's 9,000 words long compared to 900 what it was before, because they had to add all the little things like, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, anything that could possibly be considered, bad, they had to shove in there, of course. So
you gotta go with the mob. If you want to make that money, you got to go with the mob.
But the only thing this is really doing for Wizards of the Coast, if this is actually true and a leak could have been done by them just to see what people thought about it, which I wouldn't put past them. I really wouldn't put past them. But they could have done this. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh, here's your chair squeaking. I have a feeling they leaked this out just to see how people react to it, to see if people are like, oh, that's cool, we want to go mindlessly sheep following Wizards of the Coast, because all this is going to do is hurt them. It's going to piss people off to the fact that they're not going to want to buy the 1 D&D or D&D 6 as they're going to eventually call it. They have something slated on their calendar for 2027 that says D&D 6.x.
What?
Yeah. They already have something slated for another edition of D&D in 2027 on their calendar. They have like an event live thing. I forgot what that was, but some people were showing it on Twitter. They found it, that Wizards had an event set up for 2027 for D&D 6X.
Jeez, they're looking far in the future, aren't they?
Pretty much. But that would only give you what 3 years with a current edition, and usually editions last a cycle 8 to 10 years. What, 5e came out in 2014, so now this will be the 10th year coming up into 2024. So that about sticks.
Yeah, that about sticks.
D&D 3 was only out for a couple years because they had to fix a lot of stuff with 3, and 3.5 lasted a long time. Actually, no, 10 years. Thinking about it, because D&D 3 came out around 2000, 2001-ish, and then they came out with 3.5, which was supposed to fix everything that they didn't like or people complained about in 3.0, which I had no problem with 3.0. I thought it was, from a DM point of view and from a player point of view, I thought it was a fun addition to play.
I did
But
like it. Yeah.
and then 3.5 just gave me such headaches when they just nitpicked on the rules. And that was like, I think 2003, and I'm probably wrong on that. Around there, maybe 2002, 3, 4, in that time frame. And what? And fourth edition came out in 2008, I want to say 2009, somewhere around there. Yeah, because I remember we just kind of started doing the Roll for Initiative podcast when that edition came out, and that was like, oh, D&D 4.0, ooh, that's the edition that shall not be named, things like that. Let's see, Captain Frost has a comment here. Put it up on the screen here. OGL is like running a bakery and letting someone buy your cookies, but but you protect your recipe. It doesn't help if you sold the recipe for the last few years in a cookbook. Yeah, I know, you're right. It doesn't really help.
Well, I would put it towards like more Monsanto's like GMO things, where they give you a type of crop which is specifically genetically designed in a certain way that they code it. But and so you turn around and you buy
Mhm.
their product from the stores, like oranges, bananas, whatever, and you find their seed and you plant their seed. Well, you're not allowed to do that because it's uh, genetically copyrighted. It's intellectually copyrighted. So therefore, you cannot grow their seeds, even though it's right there, for anybody to use. And
Yeah.
especially if you sell it, they'll sue you.
I don't know. I just don't understand the purpose of this. And I'm hoping that this leak was just something that somebody leaked and it's fake and it's
It's
not actually
money.
happening. I,
It's
I
money.
know it's
They got
money,
to.
but yeah.
The thing is, Wizards of the Coast has probably been losing money for a while. Am I right?
No, no.
They haven't been losing money.
No, if I could find the link, hold on a second. I'll just get this off the screen here. They made quite a bundle with D&D in the last couple of years, to be honest.
Is that because due to the popularity of like online influencers?
Yeah, I would say it has to do with Critical Role and a bunch of other actual play podcasts, or I should say actual play videos on YouTube, because what happened was one person did it, so then they became popular and they made money, obviously. So then two people want to do it, then three people want to do it. It's like, then I could do it, then they could do it. One of those things.
How they sound?
Yeah, like that, like Geoff.
Hey, Elf.
Elf here. Hey, what's going on, man? It's not final. Oh, let me put this comment up on the screen so everyone knows what I'm reading here. Elf bait. It's not final. I have a feeling this is an early draft of or a wish list the Wizards of the Coast hope they can get away with. Yeah, that's what I was thinking before I know you just showed up, but I was saying commenting that I'm thinking they leaked this out just to see what people would do for if this would actually go through, kind of like when they leaked those court case rulings ahead of time or decisions they're going to make. Just to see what people have to say about it. Things like how the Supreme Court leaks things like out. They want to see what people have to say about it. It's kind of one of those things.
I
I
think
think it's
it's
going to
more.
ruin them.
I think it's more of a not much of a leak, but more of a what's it called, a warning,
Yeah.
so that hey, we're doing this. If you don't like it, you know, guess what? Things are going to change anyways. So here's your warning. You better change it now.
I'm just I mean, I understand they said looking through this article, I believe it says that if you have something that is out already with the OGL, you can continue to use it and sell it. You just can't you make anything new for it, which concerns me because I need to definitely read this OGL if it ever comes out, due to me having a clone that I have for sale on Drive Through RPG for Mazes and Perils. That's an actual clone, granted, of Holmes Edition D&D, which is from the 70s, but it still falls kind of under the OGL. So I mean, I could probably strip the OGL out and just use it anyway, but no one's gonna care. I don't make
Well,
enough money for Wizards of the Coast to even care about me.
yeah, that's true. You don't make over $50,000. You make what, under
I'm lucky
ten
if I make,
bucks?
yeah, lucky if I make $10, Geoff. You're right. I haven't updated that game in 10 years, so I mean, it's just kind of sitting there because I just made it because no one made an edition of Holmes D&D back then, and until someone else came along and made another Holmes Prentice. I forget what it's called. Yeah, something like that. He made his own edition. That I just stepped away when he did that. I'm like, he's doing it. I don't care. I just wanted to prove that I can do it, and that's all. Yeah, you're right. And that is the entire secret, which Wizards of the Coast is banking on that people don't realize. You really don't need the OGL to make D&D compatible material at all whatsoever. You could just make D&D compatible material and just say for use with the most popular role-playing game on earth.
Yeah, but I mean, we were discussing before the stream about the TSR.
Oh God, TSR. You mean $T$R from the 90s?
What would
Totally
they do?
sue. They basically, and I'm sure some of the people here in this chat here have lived through the 90s era of TSR when we were on AOL and Prodigy and everything. I don't did Prodigy exist? Yeah, I think Prodigy might have been gone by then. But you would put up your own DD material on your AOL page, and next thing you know, you get like this cease and desist to pull it down from AOL because TSR was going to sue. It's like you're going to sue a guy for putting up a fantasy sword picture and stats? Come on.
Yeah, and that
Lorraine
wasn't monetized at all.
No, it wasn't monetized at all. People were putting up like, "Hey, check out my cool, this or that." There were people trying to sell things legitimately. I don't blame TSR for trying to stop them, but yeah, exactly. There's a good point here from Elf again. Rolaids did a lot of that in the 80s. They would even use proxy stats and give you a conversion to DD page at the back of the book. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of things from Rolaids from the 80s and the 90s. What are you waving at?
Oh, Ronan the Wanderer.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of their modules and box sets from the 80s and 90s that basically looks exactly like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and you would not you would look at it and go, "What? Huh?" But they just kind of changed up the wording and everything. There was no OGL back then at all whatsoever.
But now, yeah. But the
It
thing
just
is,
makes
the
stuff
reason
that is system agnostic. Yeah. I think Tim Kask, Frank Menser, and someone else got together and they started doing that for quite some time in the I want to say around 2010 to 2012 timeframe. They did that, and it didn't really work out too well for them. Yeah, Palladium is AD&D pretty much, and yes, he always plays D6 Star Wars. Yes, of course. Hey, now does that make people out there in the chat? Question for you all: so if Wizards of the Coast tanks the OGL 1.0/A/Q to the 7th power agreement, does that kill the D6 open license, or is that a completely different license? Because it does have some components of the Wizards license in it. Does that kill the D6 license along with it? That's what I would like to know. And I'm not a lawyer or an expert here, but it's just a very interesting thing to think about. Because then all those people that do the D6 material for Star Wars and not really Star Wars, but just their own D6 games is going to be dead now too.
Well, who owned the D6 license for Star Wars? Wasn't it
The license for Star Wars is still owned by Disney.
well, for the Star Wars, but not for the Star Wars D6 system?
Well, it's two different things.
I know. Who was the original printer for the D6 system?
Oh, West End Games.
So West End Games. So if West End Games are they even in operation anymore?
No, West End Games is the owner, the new owner of West End Games has passed on, and I know there was another company that had an agreement with West End Games to produce some new D6 licensing stuff. Yeah, West End Games did the mechanics.
So if West End Games is no longer a corporation, isn't it just a free license at this point in time? Anybody
That's
can
not.
just.
It's not really. You would think it works that way, but somebody still owns it. Somebody still owns it.
Disney's like, mine. Give me more money. The mouse will come in there and break your knees.
I mean, you really can't. I mean, you probably could take a game from a defunct company that's out there and recreate it and hope that the owner isn't watching. I don't know. Maybe.
But no, I would think that the OGL the reason why they're doing this is because it's like an open marketplace where everybody, if you want anything related to that, you go to the OGL. I mean, yeah, you can scour the web, but if you want that particular newer stuff, you want to go to the OGL.
Yeah. I don't know. What's some of our chat saying here? They sell Open 60 materials and they have D6 Space, which is Star Wars. Yeah, D6 Space is actually would be the if Star Wars kept continuing, if WEG kept continuing Star Wars, D6 Space would be the new edition of it. Which is it basically they just filed off like he's saying, filed the serial numbers off and
This is not actually the game you're looking for.
yeah, really. I was trying to as some people out there, I was trying to get Nick to join us tonight, but he did not join us.
Nick's doing his thing. He's a busy man.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's doing busy man stuff. Let's get this off the screen here.
I don't know. I like the D6 system. I mean, the D6 system is even used in what's it called? Shadowrun.
D6 Space was made by a bunch of West End games. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, Shadowrun, that's a completely different D6 system entirely.
But they only use 6-sided dice, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a D6 like system, but not the D6 system. Obviously, D6 for Shadowrun is rolling a pool. It's actually, I think it's considered a dice pool game because you're pooling your dice and rolling them. But
that's true.
Shadowrun is more of a just roll and as many dice as indicated by the whatever the GM tells you, and then get how many hits above 3, 4, 5. Well, if you're playing older editions, it could be anywhere from 1. I shouldn't say 1. I think it was the minimum was 3, and then you can go up to 5. I don't know. I think Shadowrun first and second edition was like that. I haven't looked at those books in a long time.
But yeah, was it Star Wars was a pool, so you had all the dice you rolled had to reach a certain number.
Yeah, it was just add them
was,
up. Yeah,
was the amount of dice to over a certain
target hits. Yeah. So if you had to get if we're playing and you're like, I want to hit it with my lightsaber, and I said, okay, Geoff, you need to roll. You need to give me. We're talking about Shadowrun, so you need to give me like 4 hits of target 4. So you'd be like, okay, I got 4 hits, and then
is it my lightsaber inside Shadowrun?
Yes.
That good old Shadowrun lightsaber. That's now a thing now.
Well, why not? It's psychic energy blade in Shadowrun, right?
Does it still make the same sounds as a lightsaber?
It goes something like that. So I just got a message that our 7 Days to Die server is now functional, so we can play that now. Yeah,
you get to play on that in your other channel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I was looking for how much Wizards of the Coast made. I got distracted. Wizards made on D&D.
I didn't like Morrowind. I only played it for 5 minutes when I first got it, and it was like, no, I don't like it. But then I watched someone play Oblivion, and I loved the shit out of that because they were like, I was watching, they were invisible, but yet they were still like chopping down enemies. Like, oh, I gotta try that. But I heard Morrowind's a lot more custom than Oblivion.
Is it? I've never played it all. The financial reports show that $60 million decline in D&D and Magic. Wow.
You haven't even played Dragon Age.
I did play the first original Dragon Age. Yeah. When I first got here to Texas in 2012, when I started working, there was one guy that who lent me the game to play, so I was able to play it.
So you played the game, but you don't know the lore that well?
No, I don't. Last time I played it was 2012. Just because I play the game doesn't mean I know the actual lore of the game.
Oh man, I love that lore. But yeah, it was supposed to be the end of all life as we know it back in 2012. They made movies about it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the predictions.
Was it John Cusack or something like that?
Was it John Cusack? I don't remember. I don't know. You just sitting there all smiles, Geoff. What's going on?
I'm just thinking back at 2012, like, oh, everyone's making the world's gonna end. Oh, the world's gonna end. 8 years later, here comes the pandemic.
Yeah, really. Hasbro says there's a 36% decline in their sales for everything. So, they weren't making a lot of money off of D&D anymore, to be honest. But
So they're
but it's
losing
time.
money. They're
It's
losing money
time.
in product. So they're getting money through licensing issues.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
that's
remember
why they came up with the LG OGL.
they were also, yeah, Apocalypto. Uh there was also something I remember reading about D&D, the new one edition, that you have to keep purchasing material to even there was like a monthly fee attached to it.
Like a subscription.
Yeah, so they wanted to do a subscription based thing. Dungeons and Dragons executives think the brand is really undermonetized. They want to create a recurring spending environment around the popular tabletop RPG's digital front, which is ridiculous. So, what I'm thinking is they're going to have it like you buy a digital book to play on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, whatever, and you keep paying them monthly to keep using that book, which is ridiculous beyond ridiculousness.
I think they're 10 years too late for that sort of system. If they had done that back in 2012, 2013, when the height of like what was it, World of Warcraft was out, they could have probably gotten a lot of people into it. But because that was a day and age of subscriptions, everyone's no longer no one likes subscriptions anymore.
You think so?
I,
You think it
I
would have
don't think
worked
so.
back then?
Yeah, there
Huh.
was the community. The community was wanting fantasy and everything they were doing. So, I mean, Lord of the Rings just came out, didn't it?
I thought Lord of the Rings came out in 2000.
Was it 2000? Yeah, everything's subscription now. But these subscriptions now offer so much than
Yeah.
just maybe a weekly use. How many games a week would you have to play just to make up for that money you use it for subscriptions?
How many games a week?
Yeah, that's true, Elf.
Well, it really
They are
depends
pretty
on how
good.
much it was. I mean, if it's like a $9.99 a month, or if it was per book, or I don't know, if it's like something like how Fantasy Grounds was, which is ridiculously expensive. I mean, it could be one of those. Who knows? Hobbit movies were around 2013 to 15. Was it the original Lord of the Rings around 2000 though?
I don't know. I can look it up real quick.
Because John's saying it was.
Yeah, they're gonna put a subscription to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2001
Reoccurring.
to 2003.
Yeah, so I thought the original Lord of the Rings was that. Yeah, the Hobbit movies were 2013 and 15. Which one did you like better out of the two of them?
The Hobbit. I mean,
You like
I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I really like the Hobbit. I've read the book and I know the lore, but I think Peter Jackson's take on it was really good. I think he well, obviously, you have Lord of the Rings that came out in the 30s, 20s or 30s, whatever it was. So there was time for it to integrate. But the thing is, he came out with the Lord of the Rings first, but it had no the Hobbit had no, besides the ring, had no connection to the Lord of the Rings.
that?
Peter Jackson actually just put the two connections together, which I thought was pretty good.
It was not three movies good.
I agree, but I would say this: if Peter Jackson would go back, I would like to see him remake the Lord of the Rings movies and actually put the context that he, or the things that he missed into the books that he missed in the films.
Yeah. Wow, too much stuff was added to the series.
Yeah, it was, but like I said, I think he was trying to. Yeah, no, Tom Bombadil, but I think the stuff he added was to connect the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Did you ever watch the cartoon that they came out with?
I watched the Hobbit cartoon. I thought
Yeah,
was awesome
yeah.
when I was a kid.
You
I
know,
thought Gollum was freaking scary.
yeah, right. A fact was when I was in middle school, my English teacher had us read The Hobbit, and then we watched the cartoon afterwards. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool that we actually did it in school wise. So
Mm-hmm.
he was
Mm-hmm.
all about uh like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, so he kind of pushed it and everything, which found out later on after I left that class, he was big into D&D and stuff like that too, but he never
Yeah,
told
that's good.
anybody because most people were, scared to say they were part of, I'm D&D, you must be a nerd.
Or Satanist or on that drugs.
Yeah, you're gonna go
Yeah.
kill someone in the tunnels like Tom Hanks, right?
I gotta watch that movie. I had that movie for a little bit. Mazes and Monsters.
You never watched Mazes and
I
Monsters?
watched like the first
Oh,
part of it. I never got to finish it. It was I
oh
wanted to.
God, that movie was just awful, and I'm surprised Tom Hanks didn't buy it to try to make sure people didn't have it anymore, like he did with the Bosom Buddies show.
I think before Bosom Buddies, or even during Bosom Buddies, he didn't give a shit about.
Do you think so? I mean, that movie was just awful. Yeah,
I mean,
I
what
don't
was
know
his
where I am.
first big hit? It was big, right?
Splat. It was either Big or Splash, one of the two.
Yeah. Both great movies.
Yeah. I don't have a copy of Mazes and Monsters, but I've seen it so many times that when it comes on TV or whatever movie channel, I'll watch it just because it makes you want to vomit. It's that bad.
It's cringe material.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
like
much
there's
cringe
no way
material.
that's ever true.
No, no. So yeah.
Including the rape scene. Wow.
Hmm? What?
John
Oh
Sisley.
God. We watched yeah, I remember Excalibur. Yeah, we watched that in when I took a college class about medieval history. They actually had one of the kids wanted us to watch Excalibur, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, we'll watch it."
Yeah, look at the cover. It's just a guy with a sword. He's in armor. It's about fantasy.
Aw, I want to be part of this class. When he was in school, he watched The Princess Bride. I mean, that'd be a cool thing to watch in class. Princess Bride. That was a great movie. Need more movies like that. Too bad we don't
Hmm.
get movies like that anymore.
Like I said, everything these days comes to movie wise. They always have to project something on it. What happened to the days where movies were just an escape from reality?
You would think that that's what people want, and that's what people do want, but Hollywood does not seem to think that anymore. I don't know.
No.
They basically just try to um, remake movies with followings now. Like, Jeff likes Lord of the Rings, so we're going to remake Lord of the Rings, but with a little bit of a twist because we know Jeff's going to be like nostalgic for it and want to watch it again.
Yeah, they play off that, but then they'll criticize me when I don't like their stuff. You like the Lord of the Rings. You should like our new stuff. What was the new one? Off of Amazon Prime.
Oh, Power of the Ring, something. I
Power
s-
Rings. Power
yeah, Power
Ringers.
Rings. Yeah, I started watching that. The first 15 minutes of that episode when the elves were hunting and stuff like that and going to tackle I forgot, was that big dragon thing or big monster. I blocked that out of my mind because the show was just so bad. I was like, this is awesome. And then they just went from there into the whole scene of introducing the characters, and I'm like, this is fucking boring. I didn't care
Mhm.
about the fucking characters. And it just looked off to me. And it seemed like it was a fanfic that someone turned into a script.
That's basically what it was. They took what was it? Elrond. What was that? J.R.R. Tolkien's notes and basically made a fanfic out of it.
They took his notes that he wiped his butt with and threw in the garbage. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what it
which
sounds
people would
like.
probably pay a pretty good money for.
He's got his poop on it. I need
This has
that.
a stool.
Yeah. That's just awful.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know.
And it's going to get a second season, I believe. So,
Is it? It bombed pretty bad, I thought.
yeah, Rings of Power yeah, definitely. This dude has it straight right here. It was like the prequels for Star Wars. Or
I
do
don't
you
know. I
mean the
think it's more like the
sequels for Star
sequels.
Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking it was the sequels. Not the prequels for Star Wars, the first one, yeah. All right, that one was
First
bad.
one was toyetic. They had to make merchandise for their stuff. They wanted to make money.
That
The
was just
second and third one wasn't
awful.
too bad.
The second one was pretty decent, and the third one I kind of liked a lot. But yeah, let's make an epic film about politics. Yes, that's about every
Have
film possible.
Yeah, I was like, haven't they made several about those? Manchurian Candidate,
No, I
Air
think it was
Force One.
Air Force One. I don't think Air Force One was a political movie, but okay.
They had a president in there somewhere.
What is this? Did you ever watch The Greatest American Hero? They had an episode where they had to find a live action role player is missing on campus. Did they really? I mean, I watched that show years ago, but I don't remember that.
I've never seen something about it. I just never watched it myself.
You didn't watch Great American? Come on.
No.
That was a great cheese show about a superhero. I love that show. You have to watch that. If you find it somewhere on YouTube or something, just watch a couple episodes.
Oh, I'll be right back. I gotta watch the show.
All right. Let me get rid of Geoff now. He's gonna go watch his show. Bye, Geoff. No, I'm kidding. Bring Geoff back.
Oh my god, that was such a great show. I love the episode where they had to find those missing role players.
Bravo. Yeah, that's what just happens. So yeah, I don't know. I like the fact that now Twitter is now Twitter is all about you hate the OGL. Why don't you play this fantasy game instead? Geoff eject Soundwave voice. Get Geoff out of here. I don't know. So yeah, OGL sucks. I hope it doesn't come out.
Wizards of the Coast is a company. They're going to try to monetize everything they can to stay afloat. And if they had to pick on independent creators, hello Brian. If they had to pick on independent creators to make more money, then they're going to do it. It's just the nature of the beast, and they're gonna co-opt any political or you have fun, Ronan. They're gonna co-opt every possible,
Oh, Catan. Oh, I'm jealous.
People they can to get more money.
I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, just adding politics into games is just ridiculous. I can't stand the games that have the disclaimers in it. You should be this type of person. If you're not, then you shouldn't be playing this game because you're a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi and you don't have these people sitting at your table, this game isn't for you. It's like the people that sit out there saying, my music is for this certain race only. It doesn't apply to white people. It's like, what?
Elfbait. Put that one up.
OGL
he's
here?
Correct. He's talking about. Well, it's a little less than the top 20. It's making $750,000 a year that they're looking for go forward for. But we did look up in what is it? I forgot the name of the website. D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Okay. If you make more than $50,000, Wizards of the Coast wants to know about it.
So if you make 50,000 or more on D&D like products
on OGL, yeah, they want to know about it. You have to
tell them about it. What if I just don't tell them about it? I mean, does it really matter? I mean, no, yes.
I don't know. I mean, I assume that they see the amount of downloads or whatever and add on the projection of the price you're selling your product for. Just add those two together.
There's 20 projects that hit the 750K mark. I wonder what the projects are. I don't know. I just know they ain't going to come up to someone like me. So
yeah.
Where's
our $10? The evil DM.
Where's my 10? Where's my $10?
It's like that picture of the guy holding his hand out, putting it.
Yeah.
Where's my money?
They should. What I said earlier that was.
Yeah, I mean they if they want to make some money, they should invest in other products. But I think they just want to stick with their own stuff. They're not an investment company.
No,
which is something I would do if I had their money.
I wonder.
As fuck.
That's right. Wizards of the Coast isn't its own company, so it wouldn't have its own stock. So I guess Hasbro will be their stock. So I wonder if the Hasbro stock dropped. That'd
Well,
be
I mean,
interesting to
I
check
thought
out.
Hasbro was a stock.
Yeah, Hasbro stock, yeah, but no, it hasn't dropped at all. Maybe a point or two, but that's just an average thing I'm looking at here. I don't think Wizards of the Coast stock is an actual stock because I think because they're owned by Hasbro, they probably fall under that.
The
No, they actually are
subsidiary.
their own stock. Huh. Oh, it's owned by Hasbro. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's their parent company. It would be like Google and Alphabet, but Google is a stock. It's
Yeah.
majority owned by Alphabet, or were, or was, or something like that.
Hasbro stock. This is back in February. Never mind. Hasbro stock leaps as activists push for Wizards of the Coast spin-off and board changes. That's right. I remember they were trying to get them to split the company so they can make their own woke version of D&D. So the crap that they're putting out now isn't enough. That's what is it? Wizards of the Coast should stop licensing out so much and capture these markets in house. Yeah, with Hasbro at their backs and action figures plus, yeah, they should. They really should. I think they personally should license out the D&D license to somebody else. Let someone
Yeah,
else take
I
a crack
agree.
at it now at this point.
I
Dissolve
mean,
Wizards of the Coast completely. Get them out of there and just start third-party license it to somebody else to work on it and have someone else that has more love of the game and more roots in the game than Wizards of the Coast. Because apparently the people who work at Wizards have no roots in the game or give two fucks about the game, to be honest.
I think they should be like a oh, a clothes brand like Tommy Hilfiger and whatever. As long as you put that Dungeons and Dragons logo on your product, we're backing you, and you have to pay for that use of that icon.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Well, I know there's nobody old school there anymore. I mean, when in 2011, when we went to Gen Con for Roll for Initiative and we met with Wizards of the Coast, and they were talking about the new editions and stuff like that. We were talking about, we're AD&D 1E. And I remember one of them saying to us, "Oh, that's cool. We got one guy that still plays 1E that knows the 1E rules, and that was Mike Merles." And that was about it. Everyone else, no one. They were all brand new people. And I'm pretty sure the people that are running Wizards of the Coast now have no roots in anything other than probably 3E or maybe a 4E. I could
they're
be
probably
wrong.
they're
I could be
probably
wrong.
all college campus buddies.
Yeah, they're never gonna let go of that. They're gonna just let it drive it into the ground. I wonder how the movie's gonna do. Speaking of the brand, Chris Perkins is old school. Is he? Is he though? I don't recall Perkins being old school. Is he even
Who's
still even involved with Wizards of the Coast anymore?
who's Chris Perkins?
He was one of the developers. I think he was a lead developer in 3 or 4E era.
Oh, then we don't need him.
He wrote for Dragon back before it was 3E. Okay, then yeah, he would definitely have roots then.
What was the thing that that the Wizards of the Coast went after Dragon's Lance or something like that?
Went after Dragonlance?
Yeah, like their writing or something like that. They didn't want them to write anymore.
Oh, you mean Hickman and Weiss?
Yeah,
I don't know the whole story of that. I know they just wanted them to write a certain. I don't know. I can't comment on it. I don't even remember how. I vaguely even remember that whole situation, to be honest.
yeah, that was.
But how do you think the D&D movie's going to do? Do you think it looks cheesy? Because to me, I think it looks cheesed beyond cheesed again.
I think they need to add certain developments and certain characteristics inside the movie to make it better. I mean, otherwise, it's just going to be just another fantasy movie.
You know what's a good fantasy D&D movie is Mythica. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. The last one I saw was Marlon Williams and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh God. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the last one I saw. The rest of them were just
Ah.
fantasy movies.
I think Mythica was the original Mythica was probably the closest thing you'd ever get to an actual D&D campaign / movie. It was low budget but it was really good. Even had Kevin Sorbo in it.
Everyone loves Kevin Sorbo. Hercules.
Hercules. Yeah, we love him. We do. He's a hell of an American. Yeah, the best D&D movies are not D&D movies. You're right.
Well, because D&D wasn't based off a movie. I mean, the movies were based off the game, but D&D originally was based off of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So yeah, your best D&D movies are not going to be D&D movies. You're absolutely right.
If you have a chance and you see it somewhere on TV, Geoff, watch Mythica, the original one, not the other ones. The other ones suck. The original one was actually really good. It reminded me of a really good D&D campaign. So you definitely have to check that out. Oh, okay. Here we go. Captain Frost looked it up for us. Hickman and Weiss were getting royalty conflicts with Wizard of the Coast. Oh, was it have to do with who actually owned Dragonlance and who can get the royalties from writing for Dragonlance? That sounds about right what happened. I mean, Hickman and Weiss are the ones that invented the entire world. And I mean, I interviewed them and they tell me the story about how they went to Gary Gygax with the whole thing. It's just, okay.
I'm still here. I just had to turn off my camera for just a second.
Oh, okay. You got to pick your nose and stuff like that at the moment?
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely it.
I mean, if they needed to, it's fine. We just got a bouncing D for Geoff. Go on.
We got a bouncing D.
Yeah. But I think the D&D movie is going to be awful, to be honest. I can't see anything in your background if you're concerned about that, by the way.
That's fine. Sorry, someone was giving me the high sign.
So your wife was flipping you off?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
That's how we communicate.
Yeah, well, that's how it works in some
Like
world. Right?
Craig's family off of South Park, we just flip each other off when we want to communicate.
Oh, this is interesting. I found something. Some lawyer broke down the new OGL. Let's see if I can get that on screen.
Was it the rules lawyer off of YouTube?
No, not that.
Shout out to the rules lawyer.
Not that weirdo. This was on N World. He's a lawyer. This is a PSA. Let's see. Like many of you, I'm a nerd and also a lawyer. With the OGL controversy, I've seen a lot of the claims on the internet here and elsewhere about what the OG is and how it interacts with third-party content and copyright law. Many of these claims are, in my opinion, inaccurate. For anyone interested in the law behind this issue, I'd like to clarify a few things. And remember, this is not legal advice. Legal advice when I don't give a shit. First, the OGL is not irrevocable, as many people think. I've seen many people say that for some reason, Wizards of the Coast cannot revoke earlier versions of their license, that the license once put out can never be taken away, and that people and companies can keep making content for 5e forever. Notice he just picks 5e, but anyway. This is false. There's nothing about the OGL that makes it so that Wizards can never revoke it. Some languages at first glance may appear to contradict this claim, but it does not. For instance, the license states the Wizards of the Coast grants a perpetual, worldwide, royalty-free, non-exclusive license to use the SRD. But the perpetual, in quotes, in this license law does not mean irrevocable. So there we go. In fact, unless the word irrevocable appears in the license, and the license can be revoked at any time for any reason or for no reason. Even in cases where the party has substantial reliance on the license, the revocation is usually upheld. Here's an excellent article. Okay, so the OGL, I keep trying to scroll on the wrong screen. The OGL states that earlier versions of the license may be used, but if the next license revokes the current OGL, that the sentence also is revoked. And that sentence also revoked. Even though the OGL acts like a contract, Wizards would not be in breach of contract merely by revoking the OGL. Contracts do not last forever, especially in open-ended ones like this. The good news is that because the reliance principle, third-party creators who have already created works under the OGL likely could continue to sell their works even if the OGL was revoked. Well, that's good to know. They could just not create any new works. Cobalt Press's Tome of the Beast would not have to be removed from the market, for instance, but they would have trouble doing a new one down the line. So they'd be able to sell the current version of it, just not have to be able to make a new updated version of it, apparently. Second, some people claim the OGL is is actually not necessary, that all material in the SDR is game mechanics and therefore cannot be copyrighted. It is true that game mechanics cannot be copyrighted, but what constitutes as game mechanics is a nebulous subject, interpreted differently by different courts, and not a matter of settled law. In game mechanic cases, the courts were usually dealing with things like rolling a die and moving a set number of spaces, like in Sorry. I have not been able to find any game mechanic cases on RPGs. I thought there was a game mechanic case on RPGs. It is likely that the SRD is a combination of game mechanics and original copyrighted content. The 6 ability scores in 12 classes are specific and complex enough that many courts probably would be uncomfortable calling them mere game mechanics that cannot be copyrighted. Other courts might interpret it differently. So it's kind of an issue going on here. It is about a larger copyright concept, whereas the ideas cannot be copyrighted, but expressions can be. This is a super complex, famously confounding, twisting words, even the legal scholars, and little beside the point. So I won't go into it there. Yep, don't care. Games and other copyright material games, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm scrolling on the wrong screen like an idiot. But even if the SRD is protected by copyright, I won't violate Wizards of the Coast copyrights as long as I don't print the SRD. Wow, word for word, right? Wrong. That brings me to my third point. Third, not only is the SRD protected, but any derivative works of the SRD are protected. A derivative work is based on and derivative from a work that has already been copyrighted. Copyright protections protect not only the original work, but also derivative works. I cannot write an 8th Harry Potter novel, then go out and sell it. Harry Potter 8 would not be a copy, a reproduction in copyright parlance. Geez. Blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of nuisance on what is not derivative. For instance, someone wrote a Harry Potter encyclopedia and J.K. Rowling sued, and the encyclopedia owner won the copyright claim because the court held the encyclopedia was indifferent enough. The Harry Potter books were novels and not encyclopedias. So I see how they do. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right here. The game mechanic aspect had already been tested way back in your days of tabletop games like Ruin Quest, Trail of Palladium, already existed under those rulings. Yeah. I mean, there's so many games out there that use the D&D like rules anyway that it's come on, you can't copyright mechanics. So anyway, that's just a little breakdown that I found from a lawyer point of view of what the OGL license 1.1 will do to us in the future. I mean, again, that's just one lawyer's opinion on things, and obviously every lawyer and or judge will interpret things differently. So what do you think about those things, Geoff?
I think it's just another way for them to make money. I think
Lawyers or wizards?
both.
Both.
I think it's just more legal gobbledygook that will try to trip up people, and the corporation, the Wizards of the Coast and lawyers will use to their own advantage.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to things like mechanics. You know, how do you define a mechanic? How do you define a certain process? It's just, you know, like you said, judges are going to interpret it differently where it depends on where you're at.
And I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to be bothered with Geoff's version of D&D versus, I don't know, some mega company doing it.
Yeah.
Does someone like, I'm trying to think of someone that's big, like Matt Finch, who in the OSR, when he's doing his games with the white box D&D, does he have to worry? I don't think so. But I mean, his is such a basic version of D&D that I don't think it has to. Does Frog God Games have to worry? Maybe. I don't know. They make quite a bit of bundle, but I don't know. What is this? A good amount of it is just groundwork. Whether Wizards of the Coast intends to use it or not remains to be seen. What they are doing is getting the foundation down for what the next Pathfinder or when the CR happens. Yeah, I mean, I understand because what Paizo jumped in when they abandoned 3.5 and they made up 0.75 pretty much, and then they branched it into Pathfinder. They basically just took the game from out from under them and just like rip, and made a brand new game out of it. We'll use basically the same mechanics. It just
Maybe that's what they're trying to prevent from happening again.
yeah, that's what he's basically saying. They're trying to prevent another Paizo situation. But hey, you know what? When Pathfinder 1 came out, it wasn't half bad. It was actually the artwork in it was really good. The game itself wasn't bad comparative to what Wizards of the Coast was putting out. And it was something fresh and new, and people loved it. But then they put out Pathfinder 2, and they might as well just kick themselves in the nuts because it was awful. Completely awful.
Yeah, you also learn from your fumbles. Yeah, and their worst enemy is other corporations.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're going to be going for. Someone's just telling me there was a video for 1 minute and 12 seconds. Yeah, that's because there was a mistake. That's why there was that. I'll just get rid of that later. It's fine. But yeah, they're just trying to prevent. Pathfinder 2 is a future. What? That was wait. I just lost the comment. I believe the Paizo saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, they did see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, they kind of walled themselves off from getting sued, basically.
Pathfinder 2 is Paizo's future proofing themselves against what Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, you're right, but it was just awful. What they put in there, how they changed things around. I did not like Pathfinder 2. I didn't like what was their sci-fi game? Starfinder? I think it was called Starfinder.
Probably.
I don't know. I have it somewhere. I have the first core book. I think it was called Starfinder.
Well, I mean, they could have put it to the fact that when they created the original, it was, so well thought out because they were using another system, and then when they were probably getting threatened to be sued, they wanted to make up something quickly, so they would block them from being sued.
Probably.
That makes
maybe
a lot
off
of
of what
sense.
separates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe off of what separates them from the OGL and allows them to grow and develop independently.
Mhm.
Yeah. Obviously, they wanted to branch out and get away from the whole. Well, that's the reason. When they originally did Pathfinder, if you remember the original books for Pathfinder were compatible with 3.5, and they actually had everything written for Wizards of the Coast, used for Wizards of the Coast 3.5 books, and then they moved into the whole Pathfinder thing and started moving slowly away. So, like you're saying, Pathfinder 2 was their way to get away from it completely at this point. So,
Maybe I mean, is Paizo still in operations?
oh yeah, Paizo's still in operations.
Then maybe they'll come out with a Pathfinder 3 and actually fix a lot of their mechanics.
I don't think it's a matter of fixing their mechanics. I think it's a matter of just the presentation and them adding disgusting things into it.
What kind of disgusting things are they adding to it?
I just didn't care for some of the wording on certain things, but we're not going to get into that right now.
I'm interested now.
I will tell you off the air, sir. Yeah, but I didn't care.
Sorry, Steven. So. You'll hear this 12 minutes from now, but sorry about that, Steven.
What, Steven? Wireless connection is terrible. I'm about 12 minutes behind. Oh my god. That's a long distance off.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get rid of the other one because people are like, oh, this isn't one for 1 minute up. Shut up.
He didn't like pronouns. Who didn't like pronouns? Paizo?
No, I hate pronouns. Every time pronouns, you're right. I don't like pronouns. Every time I see an email with pronouns at work, I laugh and just laugh constantly at those emails. It's like, I don't need your pronouns in my emails. Knock it off. I hate that.
I don't know. To me, it's pronouns. It's like, if you're in a business setting, just be business about it. Don't worry about pronouns. Just be corporate.
I mean, your name's Jerry. I know you're a he. I don't need you to tell me you're a he.
Jerry could be a female.
Not with a Y.
But no, I'm just like, if you know the first name, if you know the last name, put their name. You don't have to use a pronoun.
Yeah. Do people use pronouns at your work?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
I just call them.
Working in corporate America is covering your ass. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally is.
Yeah. I'll never put that in my profile for work. That is. You're just gonna just know because I'm a normal person. I don't need pronouns.
Your pronouns are evil and DM.
No, my
That's how they
pronouns
know
are
you work.
going to be Trump and one. It's gonna be my pronouns.
I would like to see your pronouns as be evil and DM.
Yeah, why
Well,
not?
evil over there is doing such a great job.
Well, you go talk to DM then.
DM and their friends.
I'm gonna put mine are just gonna be helicopter/pilot. So I'm gonna do that anyway. Well, it's time for us to head out for the night, Geoff, because I know I promised your wife 7:30. So thank you for those that have showed up tonight. We were just doing a little chill stream here, Friday night test hangout thing. We're gonna try to do it every Friday night, just to talk and chat. Try to get Nick back on here, just to let you know. I know I
Nick,
was
if
in
you're listening,
communication with
get
him.
back on here.
Yeah, he was supposed to join us tonight, but I don't think he saw the email, or he saw it too late. But anyway, we'll be back next week, and hopefully you guys have a great time. And you had a great time tonight, and we'll see you later.
Have a great night.